Just 2 races remain before the playoffs begin, with drivers in the Area Truck Series growing desperate. There are just 2 chances to win to get in. And though a true wild card is on deck next week in Talladega, Alabama, the Midwestern city of Indianapolis and nearby Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park might just be an even more chaotic run to the cut line. It's 150 laps and 102 miles at IRP, and it kicks off right here, right now on Sim TV. Hi everyone, Kyle Heyer, joined by Connor Horn tonight. Connor, this is race 11 of the season, and we only have 12 rounds in the regular season before the playoffs begin at Bristol in a couple weeks' time. So unless you're Jake Matheson, Travis Beckner, John Hall, or one of the other winners from this season, including David Weishart and Brad Slaughter, you are trying desperately to win to get in and leave nothing up to chance at Talladega next week.
Yeah, you don't want to carry a very close, tight point battle into Talladega. There's a number of drivers who are already in that situation for the Cup side of things next week, but you really want to get that out of the way with a win or just even a good run at IRP. We could see chaos tonight, so while it's not really a wild card in terms of it is a normal short track, this could get wild with the biggest field we've ever had at IRP. As we go to the Truck Series playoff picture, Matheson, Hall, Travis Beckner, all Miller Racing drivers locked in. Ignore the logo, a little bit of a mishap. David Weishart, Brad Slaughter, the DWR drivers that are in. Only 2 teams with race winners this season. I think Fazekas actually did win with Nathan Jump. He's not in the points battle. Curhan, Kane, Theory, and Joshua Balliet, these are drivers, they have a good run tonight. They might be locked in on points no matter what happens next week at Talladega. But drivers, Justin Sogak on down, and a little bit more trouble. Fambro's only up by 7. JT Poole, the most recent winner here at IRP, he's down 7 points. The reigning series champion James Scioli is 45 down and needs most likely a win in one of these next 2 weeks. And I think he's got to have this track circled to be the one where he can win. But don't forget about Garrett Grant, Eric Weiland, Tom Bourne, a lot of other fast drivers down there as well.
Yeah, there's a ton of really good drivers below that cut line. And again, next week is a wild card. I don't think you can put any of your bets on winning Talladega. Sure, you absolutely could win it, but only one driver will get to, and most drivers are going to crash there next week, most likely. Your destiny is a bit more in your hands this week at IRP, but it's a short track. It's a different skill set that we've been running most of the season long here, Connor. But JT Poole, as a past winner of this race, if you don't have him circled, probably shouldn't be picking in the first place. He is absolutely a contender that we need to keep our eyes on tonight.
It's kind of where he broke out, started winning races. We thought he won his way into the playoffs. He didn't run enough races. This season, different story. He's run enough races, but he hasn't really had the races go his way. That's why he sits 7 below the cut line. But he gained a big chunk of it last week, I believe. So he's in a good spot right now as we go live into qualifying. Not too many drivers went on track quite yet. Really only 10 to put a time down because the track temp has actually climbed a little bit since the start. Joshua Balliet, he was fast in practice. He's on top of the timing sheet. John Hall just behind him, as you do get 2 laps tonight. As you look at that track temp, 115 degrees currently, as a few drivers starting to put their times down, including Poole. He went 6 on lap 1. He does go faster lap 2. He still stays in the 6th position.
Will be 6th for him for the time being, as you pointed out. David Weishart, past winner this season, he is locked in as far as the playoffs are concerned. Had a very frustrating night at the big track last night, and maybe just looking to rekindle some luck, if anything, tonight at the short track.
Got the camera back up. We can look at him, see what line he's running. You're really not going to run near that top line if you can help it. The fast line is the middle of the track, but it's going to be tough to run that because if you get stuck on the bottom, you could be getting past. We've seen that plenty of times as he goes 8th on the board and shuts it down right there. It's going to be a weird type of race because it is a hot and slick track at a very small circuit. So we're probably going to see beating and banging still, but you almost don't really want to do that because you lose a lot of time while battling here.
Yeah, and I think we've run this, at least with the Florida State Builders Pro Series, in the dark before. And I think the Truck Series in the dark in the past as well. It's been a day race maybe once before. I think I remember this being a night race, but either way, the conditions are a lot different. You mentioned this middle part of the racetrack. Here's one place you won't find trucks a lot of the time when they're on their own is on the bottom of the track, Connor. It is just miserably slow down there. You feel like you're going quicker up top, but it is so much longer because the track is so wide. So there is a middle ground, and it is that middle lane, and that seems to be the quick place when you're on your own.
A little wiggle from Mitchell, but yeah, that bottom, you really only go close to that yellow line, if you're trying to like slide up in front of someone and just get in front of them, by all means necessary, as Mitchell goes 8th lap 1. So yeah, you're going to be in that middle ground. But if someone can get to your right rear quarter panel on corner exit, that's kind of trouble, because like we talked about, you get pinned on the bottom here, you have a bunch of drivers on your outside lining up to pass you. You could be going backwards, as Mitchell blinks out a little bit there. Either way, he still goes 8th on the timing sheet, but you definitely got to be careful battling here, because that lower line is preferred, but you need to make sure that you don't have someone sneaking up on your outside.
Due to the cost of last night's race, Physicus has been forced to raise funds by selling a bikini calendar of all of its drivers.
I will not be buying.
I will be buying that.
Oh, all right.
And
I can see him in the bottom left corner, too.
Yeah.
You see that?
There's one.
If he only got it out of it, he's got to push a little bit further right to get out of the tickers. Well, you can just remove it, too. There he is.
We hold great powers in our hands here, Connor. But, yeah, that's Michael Curhan. He has not yet qualified, but it is a busy place on the racetrack now as time is running a bit lower. Here's Justin Anasogak kicking off a lap. Eric Wineland is sitting on pit lane waiting to go. So is James Scioli.
And you see that the track has gotten covered in cloud cover right now. That track time's already going down from the 115 we just saw. It's down to 111, and 3 minutes to go, it's going to keep dropping. So everyone's going to get their times in right now. 88 Anasogak, he needs some playoff points to get a little bit further from that cut line. He's in a good spot right now after some good runs, but just needs a little more. 14th lap number 1. Tom Bourne, Nowicki, Fontaine, Bronson Stafford, James Scioli just came out onto the track. Mason Kane just went 7th on the board. So we wait for the 88th second lap to go down.
Let's see what Anasogak's got here on lap number 2. Is it going to be a pickup? It is...
Wiggled. Looks faster.
It is quicker. Yeah, it'll do well. It'll be 11th. Well, Curhan is going to complete his first lap and lead on to lap 2. He's in the wall there out of 4. Scioli working his way through his first lap. Curhan goes up to 5th. That must not have actually been contact.
He just missed it.
And Eric Wineland are also on the track. It's busy out there. There's 22-147 for Scioli. That is going to put him at the top.
You got to be nervous if you're those drivers right inside that cut line. Colin Farnborough, 7 to the good. You do not want to see Scioli on the pole, but Curhan got him by like 1,000th of a second for the pole on his second lap, even closer than that. So that's a little bit of relief for the 18, but Scioli on the front row is going to be dangerous when he needs to win. I don't know what it looks like on your end, Connor, but my graphics are reporting that gap is .000. Scioli denies it. Goes faster.
And Wineland, 22.425. That'll put him down the order in about 20th place. But Scioli decisively steals that one away. See if Munsell can take it to the top. Not quite.
2.210. That puts him 5th. You'll have one more. Seems like Scioli and Curhan at the top of the board. They went faster on their second lap, so we'll see Justin Munsell go to work to try to do the same thing with just over a minute to go. The only driver on the track currently, besides Wineland, who picked up the 12th position. Let's see what Munsell gets out of 4. Really working the wheel. He goes 22.233. He actually goes slower, but he stays 5th.
That will only leave one truck left to qualify. That's Bobby Tinch down there on the pit lane, leaving it to the last possible opportunity, but I don't even think he'll get that.
Nah, you'd have to go out. You would have to gone out now to get one lap in. So he'll be the only one not to put a time down. 32 trucks is the biggest field I think we've had at IRP. Last season, we had one caution when JT Poole won this race. There were 22 drivers in the field, though, which is exactly 10 less than what we'll have tonight, most likely. That race only lasted an hour, same length today.
Yeah, we'll see how things pan out with that. But it seems like a pretty good crop of drivers tonight, so we'll see if things will get mixed up. Brad Slaughter down in 20th place, and David Weishart. Not where I would have expected them to be. And then Jacob Bell didn't get a great qualifying effort, but keep our eyes on things because I feel like you can move around a little ways here, Connor. Though the middle lane kind of is your preferred groove, you can make passes in the top or the bottom here depending on your driving style. It is kind of a unique racetrack in that way.
Yeah, and I think you really got to use that middle lane to your advantage because you're going to be using it to try to pass people, but you're also going to probably try to drift up maybe half a groove to try to defend from other drivers, and you can really wear other drivers' tires out. This is one of those tracks that you don't think eats tires up that much, but if you get if you really try to work over a driver trying to pass them, those front tires are going to get a workout. That right front is going to be dying. Such a flat track, which obviously hurts that even more when you're trying to pass someone. So you really want cleaner air here at a track like this. You wouldn't think it matters. It's a pretty slow track, 24, 25-second laps, but you wear those fronts out and we get another long run like we saw last season, you're going to be in trouble.
Race fans, be sure to subscribe to the Area iRacing Twitch channel. As a subscriber, you'll have Area iRacing emotes to use in the chat. You'll also earn double channel points as a subscriber that you can use to redeem for free merchandise, all at the price of just $5 a month. And look at Eat Healthier in 2024. No need to fear, Factor is here. Choose from over 20 different meal options each week, including keto-friendly choices, calorie-smart meals, and vegetarian options. Factor meals are prepared with nutrients and ready to eat in 2 minutes or less, saving time so you can enjoy your day without meal prep or cleanup. You can click the link provided to get started and use coupon code FACTORS E46850 to save 50% off your first box. You have to head over to twitch.tv/Area iRacing and use the !Factor command to get that link. Checkered flag here in qualifying. And warm-up, rather, and that will turn us over to this race. 150 laps, 102 miles, Connor. You pointed out last season about 1 hour in duration from one end to the other. 55 minutes if we don't have that yellow flag that we had last season, but we're about to see how things will pan out. One more ad before we get rolling here. Start your engines with a fresh cup of Roasted Gems coffee. Choose from some of the finest coffee beans from Colombia and Peru, or try the blended flavors of French vanilla and hazelnut. You can use discount code Area iRacing for 10% off your order at checkout at roastedgems.com. All right. Starting lineup, let's kick things off. We've got 2 pace laps, but they're going to go quick. James Scioli and Michael Curhan share that front row, Connor.
That's the 4th pole of the season for the 7. Behind him is the 07, Joshua Balliet, and then the 03, former winner this season, John Hall.
And row 3 is going to be Justin Munsell, the number 6. And Jake Matheson will start behind him in the 52.
I can't remember if I said row 3 or not, but row 4, that's correct for sure. Shane Theron in the 38. He's had a good season across the series he runs. He's 7th. Sam Fontaine, great qualifying efforts this season. He starts 8th.
And 9th place is Bronson Stafford in the 61 Toyota. Cameron Hearn rolls off 10th in the number 4.
Mason Caden Huckett Film Silverado starts 11th. Alongside him will be usually our in-race reporter for Mondays, Eric Weinland.
And Travis Beckner starts 13th in the 28. JT Poole starts 14th in the 26.
Greg Mitchell in his Ford F-150 starts 15th. Justin Asogak, who's been on a little bit of a heater as of late, starts 16th.
And 17th place, Tom Bourne in the number 16 Toyota. Danny Ware, 18th, the number 49.
A couple teammates next to each other. David Weishart in 19th. Brad Slaughter Jr. We'll see if his internet holds up tonight. He starts 20th.
And 21st place is Garrett Grant in the number 5. Bryce Senesac, who's got his onboard cam with us, starts 22nd in the 09.
02, the Powerhouse Silverado, Jason Dalton starts 23rd. Ryan Swan, the HyperX Silverado, starts 24th.
And 25th place, James Shanewolf in the number 014. Casey Lakatos, 26th in the 50.
That bright orange number 74, that's Ryan Nowicki in 27th. Jacob Bell, high up into points, but really not a great qualifying run. He starts 28th.
Last couple rows, it's Sean Peach, Gary Waterworth, Adam Capps, and Bobby Tinch, all the way back to 32nd. Connor, pick me a winner in this race. I know who I've got lined up.
Well, I usually don't go for low-hanging fruit, but I feel like, I know, I'm sorry, but I got to go Scioli. Qualified on the pole, 4th pole of the season. He needs to win this, and I feel like there's no way he gets stopped tonight.
Well, I'll go with the driver that won it last season. He's got some work to do, but JT Poole starts 14th. He's my pick to repeat and make his way into the playoffs here tonight at IRP. 150 laps, 102 miles. Time to go racing in race 11. 2 races to the playoffs. Green flag, and Scioli leads him down. Tight quarters here on the opening lap. It always is at a short track. Mason Kane split 3 wide. Beckner on the bottom. Wineland up top.
Meanwhile, Skyler clears Curhan for the race lead. Leads that first lap. Key points. Points won't matter. He probably needs the win, but track position here, clean air. It's what he really needed to get there. While they're still side-by-side teammates for 4th. It's Matheson around the outside of John Hall, who's still in the throwback scheme. Seriously, also having internet issues. This is what we're talking about. When you're pinned on the bottom, you have nowhere to go. You just have to fight to try to get in line, and Munsell with a bad run out of 4, that will be his avenue back in.
He got an onboard here with John Hall tonight to see his perspective from the 0-3. Things are getting a little rowdy behind. JT Poole's back a couple spots as well, but has found his way up to the high side.
Bronson Stafford sideways into the corner, but he saved it. Now, I think Mason Kane just got a bump from Greg Mitchell. Now Wineland's working over the driver of the 61. Well, it's still hectic back here, although the front runners have gotten single file all the way from the lead to Travis Beckner in 10th.
There's a lot of trucks for this little racetrack, so it's going to get and feel like New York City traffic tonight. Even though you've got, you know, about a half mile, a little under, or over that rather, but it's going to be a busy place.
Oh, got to slide Shane Wolf around in the back.
And there we get the yellow, the 0-1, loops it around. I don't see any visible damage on the truck. Let's have a look.
Damage model plus a slow track is going to equal hard to get damage. It looks like maybe Senesac got into the back of him. We'll see.
Look here, he drives in on the head.
He pulled he tried to pull a slide job.
That didn't work very well, did it?
It's like, I don't know if he tried to turn right to fill that gap, or it was just he just fired it in so deep he got sideways. But either way, that was never going to work, and unfortunately, it cost a 0-9 some key, and himself some key track position.
Yeah, and you have to wonder as well. You know, it seems like, at least when I've driven this racetrack, you see a lot of like oversteering conditions where you drive in there too hot, and because there's no banking, you don't just go shooting up the racetrack. The car just steps out, and sometimes you'll see drivers hit the wall with the front of the truck because they were spent so much time saving it that they overcorrected into it, or they just spin out. And in that instance, he might have been all right without the impact from behind, but not much Bryce Senesac can do there when a truck just jumps up into the outside groove. So that'll put us under yellow for the first time tonight. Scioli leading early. Another thing I think helps a ton here is control of the restarts, Connor, because you can choose that outside lane and get a good jump.
Yeah, I think that was key for him to get the lead from Curhan on this initial start, because usually we've always seen it at every single track on the initial start. Both drivers on the front row get an even shot at the race lead, to the point where a lot of the time we will see that second place driver hang on the outside and get the lead away and then have control of the restarts. But Skyler was able to maintain that time, got enough of a run in turn 2 to stay alongside, and then Curhan tight out of turn 4. So that lets us have and get control of these restarts as we pace at least one more lap here. So it's kind of looking like, saw it a few times, even in that short run where the outside out of turn 4 specifically, it doesn't seem like you have a lot of grip out there, and a lot of drivers are having to lift and coast out of it. A lot of understeer on exit there, and then it seems like the other end of a track, in the entrances of the corner, we're seeing a lot of oversteer as Shane Wolf, probably the only driver to pit just to repair damage and get better tires. Ryan Nowicki on as well. Won't matter too much, but we'll see if the fuel matters at some point.
A lot of the elite trucks came on down. Why not? This is one of those racetracks that has, I believe, an extra pace lap even for a shorter track. No one's a lap down even, so these will get one lap longer once we have a lap down truck. But we should get the one to green this time. And Scioli chooses the bottom. Now, is that just because the shorter way around is so much more beneficial on that first restart lap, or you just don't want to give Curhan the ability to dive up underneath you?
You probably don't want to risk it, but I don't think Michael Curhan's the type of driver to just dive to the inside and try to, kind of go for a bonsai move heavily, especially on restarting lap 9. So I think Scioli knows he just gets a good enough restart, he clears them likely before the corner even. I don't even think it matters much what lane Scioli picks. It also could just be a play to keep Jake Matheson behind, because if he picks the outside, Matheson gets the jump instead of Joshua Balliet. So probably trying to play games to keep the 52 back there as well.
Here we go, lap 10. We're going to restart here. James Scioli in command of the pink and blue Rick's Hot Sauce truck back underway. Scioli gets a good jump, clears the 24. And we're back racing at IRP.
So going to take at least a lap or two to get the top 10 single file like they were last initial start. Looks like Balliet's going to try to challenge Curhan for that second spot, however, as looks like Matheson's trying to follow him through. Curhan not great on the short run, and Balliet's up to the runner-up position.
Yeah, great run here early. This 07 was very impressive in previous weeks. He is starting to come onto his own here in the 07 truck, so let's keep an eye on him as well. I don't think any of us picked him, but maybe that was an unwise choice with how good he's been running as of late and the strong qualifying effort, which has not been his weakness. He has certainly qualified even better than he's raced sometimes.
He's one of those drivers. He's gotten good finishes. That's why he's pretty far above that cut line. Like we talked about in pre-race, really one solid finish here tonight. He's probably locked in on points. So this is definitely what he needs right now as Curran starts to hold up to 52 a little bit. Those top two getting away. Balliet is trying to put pressure on Scioli while everyone's running that middle line. Just a Munsell and Sam Fontaine. Can't tell if they're trying the high line or maybe stuck up there as that 6 is going a little bit backwards. John Hall re-clears him. Travis Beckner's going forwards. He's gained a few spots since the start.
Yeah, give Beckner a short track and a front bumper, and I think you've got a match made in heaven. Let's see, he tries to close in on Munsell. He's side by side with that 71 truck of Sam Fontaine, as you mentioned. Scioli has not really been able to get away from Balliet. Still about 2 truck lengths between them.
That's kind of how it went last season. Took a while to spread out, but once it got spread out, that's what gave us that run to the very end. Let JT Poole win by about 7.7 seconds. He won that race by, so just need the laps to get spread out. But if you don't get the laps to get spread out, you get a log jam in the middle of the pack. Looks like Greg Mitchell might be at the front of a little bit of a log jam right now as Beckner's trying to work over Fontaine. Another good qualifying run for the 71, but Beckner is on the charge, not having to use his front bumper either.
JT Poole, moving forward, was using the bottom of the track last time around. I think at some point, no matter how fast that upper group is, if there's too many trucks up there, you just have to go where they're not. And JT was way on the bottom down at 1 and 2. He's moved up to 12th after falling to 15th on that first opening run.
That's a challenge of this track at some point. Sooner or later, there's so many trucks stacked up behind one truck on that top line where everyone's just getting slowed down so much to the point where you probably have to use that bottom line just to try something different and just stop staying in line because it just gets old and upsetting if you're just stuck on the top behind 5 other trucks. So JT's trying that right now, as is Shane Therian. He's trying to get to the inside of Cameron Hurd, and that's for the 9th position. But so hard to hold it down there, especially on the exit of the corners. You
can't just hit the disappear button, right? At some point, when you fill that outside groove, you got to go where they're not. And that's what's interesting is, you have the risk versus reward. Do I leave this outside line where everybody is going fast, but they're stacking up on each other? Do I ditch to the bottom? Ooh, as Kane gets up in the wall. Do I go to the bottom where I'm going to be slower, but I might be able to get by some trucks that are bottled up?
You could also wall bounce. That's what Mason Kane just did. No, I'm just kidding.
Not doing well, actually, dropping back there as JT tries to clear him, and that he will, moves himself up to 11th. All the while, Scioli and Balliet, they have not separated from each other, but they have started to leave Michael Curhan in the dust just a bit.
I think Matson is faster than Michael Curhan, but I don't think he's willing to push the tires hard to pass this 24. I think he just figures, oh, we got spin out of 2. A couple drivers to the inside.
Caution for the second time tonight. It's the 49 and the 69. Anywhere and Sean Peachin, yeah.
That was on the exit of 2. So they both roll off at the same time. Not mad at each other, or else they probably would have seen a swerve. But they might have been probably caused by one or the other.
49. Anywhere chasing Peachin here. And goes to the bottom. And they're just going to be in the same place at the same time. As simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah, simple as that. Ware drove to the inside. And Peachin kind of drove down the track to get the run out of the corner, it looked like. And they just met in the middle. Actually, Peachin might have gotten loose as well. He came down the track, rear end was swapped, but no damage. Peachin did like a, what was that, a 480 or something? Yeah. He did a pretty good job keeping no damage on the car, and they both stay on the lead lap as we get more pit stops this time, a lot more actually than the previous yellow, at least to back half of the field.
Yeah, so Stafford, Mitchell, Bourne, and basically everyone from 22nd on back is going to hit pit lane. The top 20 effectively don't hit pit road. I don't know that I would be bothering to take tires this early, but some have elected to do so. Maybe sensing that you're not going to burn up all your sets of tires tonight because there's just not enough laps to do that. So you might as well take a set whenever you can.
I guess you're at the back, there's no point not to for drivers, Tom Bourne and everyone else who was back there. You might as well try to get the fresh rubber to make up track position. You get 4 extra sets to work with, so you might get green flag runs to the end at any point because we saw it last season, so take the fresh rubber while you can. With that being said, it wasn't that big of a run or long of a run, and not much fall off yet. Scioli's fastest lap was 22.198 from the race lead. He had been about maybe half a second off that the previous next full lap we saw. So not too much fall off, but it might be enough for some of those drivers back there to make up track position, as Danny Ware does get the EOL for that incident.
Yep, so fault was ruled on the 49 there, and it's hard to disagree with that. I don't know that I would have immediately pinned it on him, but that's the finding, and that's what we'll roll with. Lap 23 kicking off now. We've got a couple looks at our SimRat Market replays so far. Race fans, make sure you head over to simratmarket.com for custom iRacing paint scheme templates. They're simple and easy to use, so it keeps you more focused on the racetrack. And we also got some really handy things like carbon fiber layers as well, both forged carbon and traditional carbon fiber weave of a couple of different styles, if that's your thing. But it really cuts down the time that you're spending painting cars and makes sure that you're on the track running it more often than not. I used to really enjoy painting stuff from scratch, but SimRat Market gets you along a little quicker. Coming to the restart, and Scioli again elects for the bottom light. Let's see if Balliet can hold station on the outside this time. And coming to the green, pit stops that have been made already on the left. Most of the field has not yet done it. Green flag, and Scioli's off and away.
Might allow Michael Correa to maybe try to get second back, and they're 3 wide with Slaughter, Wineland, and Kane in the middle of all that. I think that's what this is going to do. Oh, they're going to hit a little bit. I don't think Slaughter appreciated getting the squeeze from 31, but what this is really going to do is let the 07 get second, but more importantly, it's going to let Matheson probably get this third position away.
Oh, Slaughter.
Oh, Slaughter.
Big sideways. He got pinched down there into the fence the previous time around, so he's absolutely going to be hot. It's the 38. Therian get up into the fence there through 1 and 2. It is a log jam back here beyond about 15th place.
Fontaine, Poole, Hearn battling one position. Everyone's in the pretty much same spot. Like you said, really 15th on back is a logjam. Bryce Senesac with some left front damage, but still getting through the field after being involved in the first incident. Oh, Peachin slides.
Oh, again. He got,
gonna be another one.
Yeah, he got wrecked again.
Oh, and Shane Wolf into the wall hard off the left front of Waterworth.
Big time damage on the 0-1 there.
He hit hard. He's one of those drivers just outside the top 20 who probably would have needed good points this week, plus a win. And that's going to hurt. Any chance, slim chance of that.
Yes, Peachin just recovering from getting looped around by the 49. Off into 1 here. Does he?
Oh, he just fired it in way too hard.
I don't know that there was actually contact there from Waterworth, and then you see Shane Wolf into the wall just ahead.
Yeah, I don't think there is contact here. See,
nope.
Yeah, he just fired it in way too hard, and especially if you have at a track this flat, you'll likely have big hit. At a track this flat, you will likely put some rear brake into it to make it corner better. And this is a combination of driving in too hard plus probably having a little too much rear brake, and he just spins around. And poor James Shane Wolf, Waterworth just trying to avoid. There's nothing he could really do.
Oh man, both those drivers involved in the first 2 incidents of the night not going their way so far.
Yeah, that might end Shane Wolf's night, because that almost certainly broke the right front with contact like that.
I'm testing the steering there. It looks like it's attached, but
definitely sideways.
It's yeah, it's definitely not sitting the correct way on the axle there, the knuckle, I should say, up front.
Had some more pit stops. Mason Kane actually pit from 11th. That's the highest a driver has pit from tonight. They'll put him probably around 28th position, I think. So he's going to have a ways to go, giving up a 17 spots to get fresh tires.
And already, so we're about a 5th of the way through the race.
Sorry.
What?
James Shane Wolf just hit like 80 miles an hour to try to stay on the lead lap. Pulled a Lightning McQueen. Excuse me, go ahead.
I was going to say, about a 5th of the way through the race already, so if you're doing the math on how many tires you can take, you know, 5 sections of the race breaks down into about 4 pit stops. So
like every 30 laps.
Every 30 laps or so. 30, well, every little longer than that. But yeah, you could come take a set right now. So, you know, I just don't get yourself caught into the loop of having to get tires every 15, 20 laps, and then you run out of them by lap 90. That's not what you want to get yourself into. But maybe lap 30, lap 70, lap 100, sure, come get your tires. I don't think that they would come for more than 1 set if this race were to run from green to checker. I think you just pit once and call it a day.
Yeah, if we do get a green flag run, that's definitely going to be what happens. Even some of these drivers pitting now, it might be a case of maybe trying to play fuel strategy. I don't think you can go 120 laps here. I do not remember off the top of my head what happened last season. We did have green flag pit stops last season, just don't remember how long drivers tried to make the fuel last. But for drivers at the very back, could be a consideration that's making them pit. There's might see another swap for second here with now Jake Mattson's going to be on the offense from third.
Yeah, multi-time winner this season, so he's a threat for sure. James Schuyler, remember, he's leading this race, logging laps, but he needs to win to get into the playoffs without extreme luck. So if he could get it set up here this week at IRP, he doesn't have to do it next week at Talladega. Green flag, Schuyler's off and away again, and Matheson looks like he might steal second from Balliet, but he's got to clear the 09 or 07 here, and he will not.
Oh, they almost hit Balliet. Tell you what, he did a great job going as hard as he could to keep overlap on the 52. Matson tried to slide up in front of him in the 3 and couldn't do it, so we'll let the 7 get away a little bit as they go door to door for this position. Matson is going to try, he's really going to slide him this time, and I think he's going to force Balliet to cross him.
Yeah, but then Balliet's going to be on the bottom where speed isn't ideal, so he'll have to return the favor. How hard do you fight this on lap 32? Or do you let Matheson go?
At this point, you're committed, so you'll just stick it down there for as long as you can. John Hall's next in line to try to take a spot from the 07, but Matheson will eventually clear this, clear for this battle. Ooh, they're going to hit a little bit, but they kept it straight, and now Matheson's clear.
Yeah, that was probably smart to give up on that one and fall back into line. Once you're on the bottom, you've got a train of trucks behind you. You just can't get stranded on the bottom. You'll lose 5, 6, 7 spots before the next yellow saves you. Here's Curhan now on the high side of Beckner, 5th.
Beckner just, calmly and collectively just picking his way through the field through every restart. He's up almost 8 positions from his starting position. He's actually one of the bigger movers inside the top 10. He is the biggest mover inside the top 10, among others, through the field. And he's doing it on the bottom. He hasn't really passed anyone on the top side. He's making that lower line work. No one's really able to defend it, even though the high line you're going to use for defending, but the 28's just that much faster. That's why he's a former winner here, is Michael Curran, who's really starting to slip from front row back to 6th now.
Yeah, not going the right direction. Justin Munsell side by side with JT Poole. I'm liking the forward progress I'm seeing out of my pick tonight, up to 8th place after starting 14th, and it's relatively calm, cool, and collected progress here. And he won last season by a big margin, so I know he's got pace here, but he's got to let it play out and be smooth.
Yeah, led all but 35 laps that race. Alan Elwood was 7.7 seconds back when the checkered flag hit, so he dominated once the long run settled in. It's just a matter of getting to that long run, and he's got to get the track position for that to be a benefit to him.
Was Scioli here last season? I feel like he was not.
I feel like he was not.
And that opened up the opportunity for the 26 to win.
Actually, no. Yes, he was. He was.
Okay.
9th place.
Oh, that's right. No, there was some pit strategy thing that didn't go right for James, I thought. There was something.
He went long.
Yeah.
But JT was still the dominant force, regardless.
And up front, Scioli and Matheson, they have set sail. Balliet has not been able to keep pace now. And he's holding up the train here. Bit of a cork in the bottle from 4th on back.
Oh, Garrett Grant's in the wall in turn 1 and 2, but he kept it straight. Just going to lose a lot of track position. This looks like top 2, just like last night, but much smaller scale.
Yeah.
And a lot less weaving, from what I saw at least.
Ron Peachin back alongside Danny Ware there. Hope there's no hard feelings between those two. I don't think they meant to come together. It was the slightest of touches as well, but here they are, kind of in roles reversed here this time.
Dane Wolf still pacing around trying to fix the right front. Peachin slid big time out of 2 there, so the 49 gets the best of that battle for the 24th position right there. So a little bit of a hornet's nest up ahead. Mason Kane, once again, he's on fresh tires, but he's up only about 7 positions so far. He's working over Gary Waterworth.
Yeah, I mean, the traffic's obviously contributing to this, but I was curious to see if the tires were really worth much. It does seem like we're wearing off a little bit, but not a ton, about half a second in the first 40 laps. I would not consider that significant tire wear necessarily. So I don't think it's going to be feeling like you're bolting on Supermans on all 4 corners of your truck. Look at this, 2 trucks battling, the 12 of Waterworth and the 61 of Stafford. Whoa, Stafford's sideways.
And he's been sliding on corner entry a lot tonight, as Kane's going to take the faster line to get around him. The problem with getting fresh tires is if you get 2x2 in front of you at IRP, you're locked. There's nowhere to go. You cannot make a third line on the top or bottom. It's just really not possible without wrecking a bunch of trucks. So he's got to be very patient in making these tires worth anything as long as possible, as he's probably going to get Waterworth for 20th here in a lap or two.
Of course, wrecking someone's always an option, but you might want to reserve that for later in the race when they can't retaliate on you. And certainly if you're chasing a playoff position, the last thing you want to do is make enemies going into the last week of regular season racing or draw the attention and ire of the race control, because if you were to get yourself a penalty in points in particular, or get a week off, pretty critical time to be in the race if you want to make it to the playoffs.
And you definitely got to pick and choose your battles and the way you battle especially, so I'm sure we'll see that on full displays. We got a caution out, and it's Sean Peachin again. Wow. It's at a turn somewhere. It's on the entry of turn 3 just about. Don't know where it started.
Probably at the exit of 2. It seems like Rex. Ooh, 38.
Oh, man.
Came across the road there, Adam. Peachin has just been on the receiving end. Once was his own fault, but the other two have not been.
Yeah, that looked odd. Get another view of it. So 38 went in the wall, and there was no contact there.
Yeah,
38.
He turned left on him there. That was, I just mentioned, you can retaliate, but at what cost?
And Therian is, I don't think he's trying to look at where he is in points. He is 6th in points,
yeah,
so he is up there.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be taking that. Well, it was ruled a netcode, so he got away with that one. I don't know that I would agree with that.
I would say so. That was a clear left-hand turn.
I don't know how Peachin will feel about that, but honestly, I don't think Peachin really had a great view of that. So you might not know how egregious it looked until later. Pit stops, and this time it's everybody, looks like.
Majority, but not everyone. We'll still have some drivers on old tires, but most importantly, the race leaders are in. Skyley, Curhan, Balliet, among others. As looks like Brad Slaughter, looks like he might have taken 2 tires. You can see him on the left-hand of the screen behind our ticker coming out, just trying to get track position, and he will get in front of the drivers on 4 tires, as Matheson still comes out 2nd. We'll see how that works out, but he's still going to have...
I like this.
Still going to have about... what is it going to be? About 7 trucks on old tires ahead of him. Jacob Bell is going to make that one less, but we'll have Greg Mitchell leading this race.
Yeah, I like this call. I would have liked it better if he came out leading and the other trucks didn't get ahead of him because they stayed out. But again, we're early enough in the race, you know we're going to get more yellows because it's going to get chaotic at the end. So yeah, absolutely, I'd be trying some things like 2-tire call right now. I just would prefer it if it put me 1st instead of 9th. But since everyone didn't pit, it kind of mixes this up a little bit. Just for reference, on the left-hand side of the screen, the number of laps since the pit stop is represented there. So you can see Greg Mitchell leading 26 laps on those tires. Anna Sogak has made no trips to pit lane yet. Or no, he has made 1 trip to pit lane, lap 7.
First yellow, yes. But Sean Peachin actually stayed out, so he'll be definitely on the worst tires, I would think, just based on the slide he had. But Slaughter, we'll see. You really want to be in that middle lane to advance. He's going to restart. Where is he going to restart? He's going to restart in that 8th position, so he'll probably be trapped on the top. And really just depends on which lane gets clear if you're Brad Slaughter. And it's also going to be important for Skylo to get through, because you do not want to lose control of this race to the 52 based on slower traffic on older tires. So it's going to be very important for him.
Yeah, I think, this is a kind of a telling point in the race for Scioli. You lose this track position, you're going to have a bit of advantage in tires, but this is not panic mode yet. You were leading the race, you were dominating the thing. Now you're back in traffic. You've got a long way to go, over 100 laps. So don't throw it all in the trash because you're back here right now. Now, James Scioli is very, very experienced and I don't think would do that, but got to be cautious about who you're racing around. Drivers that haven't been up front yet tonight. Drivers that are mad. Sean Peachin's been wrecked twice and spun out on his own. He's got to be livid under the helmet right now. So you have to keep that in mind as you're charging through the field to try to get your lead back, that everyone else is trying just as hard to stay up here.
We'll have to see how aggressive these drivers want to get. We were talking about earlier, I don't really think 3 wide's a viable option at this track. You just lose so much time going to the bottom or top. So you're going to have to be really patient on new tires if you want to get back to the front. You're going to have to really watch out in the middle of the corner, especially for drivers who are just not getting on the pedal. So could see a lot of contact here because of that.
Here we go. Greg Mitchell, Justin Anasogak, your controlled trucks. And green flag back in the air, lap 50. Next time around, 100 to go. Scioli already on the attack down there on the inside 3 wide.
That was not a bad strategy for Greg Mitchell either. He's 23rd in points. A win probably puts him top 20, so never know what could happen. Skylerly looked 3 wide, couldn't make it work. Slaughter is getting the advantage here.
Yeah, it's a bit of a bottleneck up here, though. This is a dangerous place. Maybe you can take this risk because short tracks don't leave you with as much damage as a super speedway. But
look at this chaos.
Yeah, we said desperate times calls for desperate measures.
Trucks on the wall.
The strategy is going to play out like this all night long.
It's like Skylerly's going to take control. Slaughter had a really bad 3 and 4, and that really backed up Jake Matheson. Balliet might clear the 8 of Slaughter. He threw it in there, so restart's not going well for the 52 at all, especially also the 28 falling back, and Skylerly setting sail from the drivers on his strategy. While meanwhile, Greg Mitchell did finally clear Justin Sogag for that race lead.
And Sean Peach in the middle of 3 wide still. Going to get squeezed between JT on the outside.
And Fontaine on the bottom as well. Man, they get so close to that wall, JT and Cameron Hearn. Wyland's below the yellow line, just trying to make this work on the exit of the corner.
There's just too many trucks to fit this wide. 12's up in the fence in 1 and 2. And Skylerly's
wide
up
again.
To 4th, looking for higher, but down the backstretch, Stafford is the meat in the sandwich here.
I think we're still at Indy with the 3 wide. We're seeing as Sam Fontaine pulled a little bit of a slide job, get in front of the 61. Now he battles Curhan for that position. And just up ahead, John Paul's working over Waterworth, and Matheson's still trying to get by the 8 of Slaughter.
Laps clicking away here as drivers try to get sorted out here. Wineland trying to recover. Started 12th and his run is down as high as, or as far as 22nd, up as high as 10th, as Skylerly shuffles his way into 2nd place and sets his sights on Greg Mitchell a second up the road.
Greg Mitchell did a good job just getting away from all of this. He's up 9/10 of a second. That gap will definitely come down with Skylerly in 2nd, but Balliet probably did the best of anyone on that restart. He got up to 2nd on the 4-tire strategy, really because he got by Slaughter.
Spin, turn 3. And it's Adam Capps, I think, was the truck I first saw around, then Jason Dalton in there as well.
And Garrett Grant got some contact there. 3 trucks, 2 of them teammates. Oh, they're not happy with each other either.
Doesn't appear like it.
Tells a story.
Yeah, watch the 0-5. I think he's going to get turned midway down the straightaway here.
Each and slow.
Oh, I think the 0-5 comes down a little. We'll get another look at that. Garrett Grant nowhere to go.
Just trying to look at him under yellow. Yeah, Garrett Grant just kind of tried to find a hole, but I don't think that'll do any damage. But that looked like Capps came down the track because he was anticipating Peachin being so slow. Jason Dalton was kind of there. Let's see.
I don't know that,
yeah, I mean,
Dalton did
I don't know
wrong there, to be honest.
Only issue I probably see is that Dalton might not have, don't know how far, he might have been close. I think he was there, end of a corner. I don't think the 0-5 had the right to come down on him. Yo, Peachin hit the wall or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Jason Dalton is fully responsible for that. I think Capps didn't have to come down like that, but obviously differing opinions.
The drivers will always disagree on what happened, but
almost.
We have the ability to look at the blimp and know that it played out maybe a bit different than the drivers think. But we'll see who gets the penalty also. That's the other thing.
Nothing ruled yet.
I think it's coming. I realized the other day that it's long overdue that I have a penalty graphic back on the graphics. I think that's something I'll have to do this weekend.
That was called on the 0-5.
Yeah, and I bet you he will not be enthused by that. But once again, he doesn't have the ability to go out-of-body experience and look down from it from high above like we do. So he will be frustrated, but what can you do?
Had not many pit stops there. The 88 and the 33 came down. They were two of the front runners who came down and pit, or who did not pit last yellow. They'll just take their tires now and cut their losses. Greg Mitchell with the lead. He does stay out on older tires. Trying to see who else is out there on old tires. Mitchell, Kane's in 4th. Slaughter, but he's on 2 tires. And then Gary Waterworth, who slipped down to 10th, also stayed out. So we didn't have many stay out to begin with. Some of those just cut their losses, though.
Yeah, Mitchell's going to save a set of tires relative to Scioli for now, as if he gets back on sequence at some point. But for now, 38-lap old tires on the 2, compared to 13-lap old tires on the 7. About 15 laps from halfway as well, so factor that in.
kind of going, even with the yellows, a little bit yellow heavy so far tonight, but we still are 2/5 through this race already, with 5 yellows for 21 of those laps. And it's really been all James Scioli. The only other leader is the 2 Greg Mitchell.
Yeah, we're clipping along at a reasonable pace. I was actually surprised to relearn that this race went mostly green last time. This is one of those tracks I usually circle as a yellow heavy event. But
I remember you being happy because there was a low truck count, but kind of factored into that.
31 trucks, 32 trucks is bordering on too many because no matter what you do, there's always 2 trucks that could run into each other every second. But they're managing it okay so far. But let's see, lap 61, Greg Mitchell. I'm not sure how long he's been able to hang on to this, but we'll see what he's got. Mason Kane up there in the outside lane. Has older tires than Scioli, but newer than Mitchell. Let's see what he's got in that red and black 31. Green flag.
Mitchell gets a good jump. We'll see what the exit of turn 2 looks like compared to Scioli. Probably hold it for another set of corners, but that 7 will be faster. And Balliette's trying to challenge as well. A couple trucks in the wall. Just really maximize the exits here because of how little room you really do have to exit these corners. But Mitchell on the restart strong at least.
Can I tell you how many times you're going to see scraping the fence, leaving the corners? It just seems like it's a popular place to be when you leave turn 2. That 31 still clinging to the outside of Joshua Balliette. He bounced off the fence there, leaving 2. Jake Matheson heads to the bottom on fresher tires.
And Matheson will get by him, try to get Balliette back for what will be 3rd position while the battle for the lead goes on. Scioli gets to the inside on Greg Mitchell. Mitchell leads another lap, but Scioli so close to having this position as Justin Munsell had a big slide through turn number 1, but saved it before the 8 could hit him. Well, Scioli gets the lead. Balliette looks for 2nd.
Yeah, that's an important pass for Scioli. Put some distance between himself and those that are fighting him directly on strategy. Balliette is one of them. Jake Matheson potentially as fierce a foe back in 4th now, and he's got quite a bit of traffic to contend with the 2 and then the 0-7.
Balliette barely clears out of turn 2. That's important for him to get some distance on the 52, but Matheson makes it very easy, just kind of fires it in like he did against Balliette earlier, gets that position away. Now Mason Kane on fresher tires but still old tires. They're going to come together. Not in a straightaway, but they kept it straight for now the 4th position, and almost even more contact as now Greg Mitchell's going to be really in trouble on these tires.
Yeah, there's trucks that are really close all over the place. Sam Fontaine, Travis Beckner into turns 3 and 4. That 28 continues to climb into the mix here. He almost tagged the 71 again, leaving turn 4.
I would not be surprised if we get another yellow. He would be the one to take 2 tires because I honestly think he can compete with the 7 of Scioli, but he just hasn't been able to keep the track position enough. He got up to around 5th or 4th, but has not been able to get back up there. He's one of those drivers who he hasn't done really well getting through the older tires.
It is a hornet's nest behind the 8. Brad Slaughter Jr. right now between Greg Mitchell and John Hall and Sam Fontaine, and that bottleneck created by some of those older tires. This is going to be a mess.
That's not going to work.
Too tight, 3 wide out of turn 2.
Greg Mitchell's giving him everything he can. Hearn's going to fire it in to get inside him as well. Now Greg Mitchell's going to really be in a bind if this goes green and he loses all the track position. He saved it. Wow.
Nice save,
that was incredible.
Holy cow. I thought that was for sure.
Gosh, that was awesome. Look how sideways he gets. Something about IRP just creates good saves. Something about the track being flat. Look at how sideways he gets.
That was cool.
He saved it. My gosh. I don't remember who it was. Might have been Cameron Hearn here in the turn 3 in the Pro Series. I remember he made a save through the grass. We're not done yet. He almost chopped Curham, but that was incredible. That was one of the great saves.
Jacob Bell pulling off and letting a couple trucks by in the background. I don't think Travis is all enthused about having to save the truck a minute ago. He's right back to work.
And just kind of what he did to himself, though, just tried to throttle up too much to get by the 71. And now he put himself in a big hole, kind of what he started with, except probably even worse than what he started with. He gained so much time, and it took him about probably 60 laps to get to where he got to. Now he's got to do that all over again on tires that are extremely hot.
80 laps to go next time by. And they will wind down quickly. 30 minutes if we go green from here to the end. I don't think we will, but despite that, almost to halfway. Here's Brad Slaughter Jr. down to the bottom. Mason Kane up top. John Hall chasing both.
Slaughter's still trying to make these 2 tires work. trying to see where he really pit from. He was 11th when the yellow came out where he took 2 tires. So right now, still a net gain, but stuck behind Mason Kane, or at least stuck to the inside with the 31 right now, because Kane has just enough tire to get the exits off the corners, as Slaughter's not happy about the hip checking off the corner. John Hall stuck behind both of these drivers. He's another one who's really lost out.
Yeah, JT Poole back here as well in 10th. For how much he won the race last season by, he's got some work to do. All the while, Balliet has run down to 7, and he's here to the lead, or trying to get it at least.
He fired it into the middle of 3 and 4 to get the right rear. So what we're talking about, this is kind of how you want to try to make passes, and he got the right rear of Scioli, and now he's got a great amount of overlap to take this spot. Now we might see Matson try to take advantage and get the 7.
This is a great pass on the outside here by Joshua Balliet. Is he going to lead a lap? Yes, he will. Balliet to the lead here at the point of the Area Truck Series Race 11.
And I bet this is taking Scioli by surprise. I bet he thought he could kind of sit in front of Joshua Balliet, but Balliet leads the first lap up for himself for the night, and he will likely clear the 7 off of turn 4 as Matheson's going to try to fill that gap on the outside.
Now this is just a power move we have not seen Balliet do yet this season. Take the past champion, drive to the outside of him and make it look easy. Here comes Jake Matheson in the 52 to bring some more strife to the rear bumper of that Rick's Hot Sauce Toyota.
First laps Balliet's led all season. And there's no better time to do it than right before the playoffs. Ramp it up. He's good on points right now, but this is a heck of a way to make yourself known that you could be a favorite. And
halfway ticked off here. Lap 75 is complete. Meanwhile, in the background, it's getting pretty rowdy deeper in the field here. Travis Beckner is clear of the trucks he was battling prior. 16-2 in the 09. JT Poole and Sam Fontaine are having a scrap.
Those two going side by side. This is all behind Mason Kane, who Brad Slaughter could not get by him. John Hall will get by him, but really it's cork in the bottle is that 31 of Mason Kane, I should say, and it's really because the 8 of Slaughter can't get by him and stacking everyone else up to the point where they're almost 3 wide with her and JT Poole and Sam Fontaine. They're all struggling.
JT looking for a way around. He's going to try to sneak up the outside, but it's hard to get overlap late in the corner like that. Much easier to get it on entry when you can carry more speed down the straightaway. But how long do you sit back here? His progress has effectively stalled, and Beckner's back to his rear bumper. Look at the throttle up down trying to cross over Fontaine on the exit. Can't do it.
You can do that, but nowhere to go. You're not going to put it 3 wide without more room to get inside of the 71, so you just kind of have to wait and hope one of these drivers just clear the other, and Hearn can't clear the 71, Sam Fontaine can't clear Cameron Hearn, so you just gotta wait until they maybe make contact and hopefully don't take you out in the process. That was tight.
Yeah, Fontaine can't clear Hearn, Hearn can't clear Fontaine, and Poole can't clear either of them.
At this point, the only other thing you could do if it's late enough in the race, you move the 71 into the 4 and then get by both of them, but I don't think he's willing to do that right now. Maybe that's a move you make with 10 to go.
Well, you know,
still trying to get the outside.
You still have another week to go as well, so if you don't win the race and you pull something like that, who's going to help you next week at Talladega? Got to keep all those things in mind when you are in a position that the 26 is in, or even the 7.
Gotta hit the tires on it too, especially if we keep a green run. You don't want to be working too hard to make a pass that's probably not possible to make. We've still got about 70 laps to go as Brad Slaughter's still working over Mason Kane. So you got to keep the tires on it. If this goes green, you wear those fronts out, you are in a bad spot.
And let me just tell you, if this goes green, these laps go away very, very quickly. We're clipping them off at about 23 seconds a lap. They will go by fast. That's 3 a minute. So, you know, if we get some yellows, which we likely will, reset some things that will slow the pace of the race, but drivers are going to start getting desperate really quickly when they look down in that relative box and they see how many laps fewer they have than they just had 5 minutes ago. The 8 of Slaughter had a big tank slapper out of 2.
I'd say one driver who will get impatient is this 8 of Slaughter. I think he is still faster than the 31, but just can't find the way around. So sooner or later, he's going to use the bumper, I would think, because he is stuck in the 7th position. And thankfully for him, the 4 has not been able to get to him yet, so he will lay the bumper to the 31 a little bit, but not too much, as they'll almost go 3 wide with the 28 of Beckner on the top, but Weiland gets back in line. Yeah, he's starting to, I think, he's about to wear out the bumper of the 31, I think.
Yeah, he's been having some internet issues as he normally does, and that makes these collisions always a little weirder to interact with. Look at JT looking to the bottom of the 71. He's tired of sitting behind these two.
Yeah, he's finally going to at least try 3 wide, but you just don't get enough of a run if you're on the way bottom of it. So that's probably going to let Beckner get to his outside and take that position away. And then Eric Weiland's next in line. He's battling even further back than that.
Whoa! You see the steering he had to put in
Wow.
there? He was fighting it.
Yeah, that was incredible.
And lets Beckner get around him.
Yeah, Bronson Stafford battling with Anna Sogak, Ryan Swan. 88's on new tires, only up to 22nd. David Weishart's another one who is on new tires. He is up to 13th, but kind of stalled here because of how massive this pack is right now, not missing anything. Oh, Kane had a big slide out of 4. That's going to let the 8 of Slaughter get to his outside and take the position. I think the 8, I don't think he hit him. I think Mason Kane just finally lost it.
Yeah, we haven't really talked about David Weishart yet tonight because of that dismal qualifying effort, only 19th quick. He has not really made a dent, or a significant dent, in his progress since the start of the race. So, and he's got Beckner and a handful of others to pass, and we know at times this has been a rocky relationship to say the least. And at a short track, if you've got grievances, even old ones, this is a place where you can either get back or reignite them.
Oh, Poole's going to slide in front of the, not letting Weiland get to his right rear there. But yeah, it's definitely a spot where you can kind of be aggressive on the drivers you don't like and use the excuse, hey, it's a short track.
It's a short track racing.
Yeah.
Right?
Pretty much.
As the prophet Denny Hamlin once said.
And it's the one time he looked likable because Joey Logano in some moments looks much more hated. But right now, we've seen some beating him back, but really not much. But this is still a very volatile pack. Now 7th on back. Brad Slaughter giving the latest driver to clear it. Those top 6 are all passing and getting away from Mason Kane, who's holding a lot of drivers up. No changes at the front. Balliet, Scioli, Matheson, Munsell, John Hall are gone at this point.
Sam Fontaine clears the 31, but just.
Whoa, he's fired into turn 3, though, almost lost it. I think he wanted to get away from the front bumper of the 31. He squeezed him.
There, the 4 had a big slidey moment. Here comes David Weishart to the bottom to capitalize on that. And Bryce Senesac trying to come back as well.
Yeah, he was involved in yellow 1, and he's just still trying to get position back from that. But this is, if the yellow doesn't come from here, it's going to be a miracle because this is where the battle's the most crazy right now. Garrett Grant, Sean Peachin, Gary Waterworth are in a tough battle for 25th, but other than that, this is where it's at right now.
Yeah, 60 laps to go. Told you they're going to come down quick. And JT Poole's trying to pass 2 trucks earlier, ended up losing 3 spots. And that's how penalizing it can be if you get it wrong and don't pick your path the wisest that you can. It's like navigating a labyrinth, right? Like sometimes you go to a new place you haven't explored yet, you just end up at a dead end. You've got to turn around and try it all over again.
Yeah, and at this point, you're going to run out of time to try it all over again as Weishart just throttles off the corner to clear the 4 of Cameron Hearn. Now JT's that 4 sideways. I don't know if the 26 hit him, but Hearn lost it. This JT gets some clean track in front of him a little bit. Stays on the outside of Bryce Senesac.
4 is dropping now, and he's got similar tires to pretty much everyone around him here, so it's not a tire differential, but must have gotten rooted up out of the way. It's 38 and the 16 of Tom Bourne. Bourne's way on the bottom there. That's not a line you can maintain very well.
Quite, as we're going to see the next driver to try to take it from Mason Kane. It's David Weishart. Don't think we know Beckner getting by, but he did get by Mason Kane for 8th. Now he's chasing down Sam Fontaine for the position ahead in 7th, and now Weishart's going to be working over the bottom under the 31, he's trying desperately to keep track position. He's still on older tires. He's made this work the best out of anyone, but it is starting to fade on him.
Yeah, he's a tough nut to crack tonight. I got to give him credit, though. He's done a nice job, and has clung to this spot a lot longer than I even think he thought he could. But he is now passed by the 33, and Senesac is working him over on the bottom out of turn 2. And all the while, up front, Balliet still leads, but that gap is beginning to fade a bit. Scioli was about 200s quicker, and a little slide there by Balliet shows some weakness.
I don't know if Scioli was exactly saving or the 07 was pushing hard, but you saw the difference right there. Balliet is not able to hold down the middle of the corner like Scioli can right now, and it's letting the 7 get right back to him. But if the 7 can't get to the outside of Balliet like Balliet did to him, he's going to be held up for a little while, and that could bring Matheson back into things.
So they pit 51 laps to go, Connor. I don't they could probably go to the end if they needed to. 100 laps here, probably, right?
I feel like probably, but yeah, I feel like it's got to be close. It is a small track, not using a lot of throttle, so I would think we are going to see drivers come relatively close to making it, or close to being, not having that much fuel in the tank, but they should have enough. We know probably Weishart and Anna Sogek are in the best spots in case these drivers can't go, but I would think they can make it on the end with fuel.
Question is, will they have to? Well, there's still some other battles, but again, you would almost presume that there would be a caution, but based on last season, it's totally possible we could run this out to the end under green. And then if you're not good, then you got to deal with pit lane here, which is a bit of an awkward fiasco, even with only a 15 truck field. Now with a 32 truck field, it's going to get very busy very quickly.
And if we don't get a yellow and no one really has to pit for fuel, lap traffic could definitely come into play at the race for the win, as they're not too far away from, it almost definitely will come into play. They're not too far away from catching James Shane Wolf. He is a teammate of Balliet, but I don't think he's fast enough with the damage to really play a factor. Then it's not too far up from Ryan Nowicki, Adam Capps, and really Nowicki on Ford. That's the back end of the main pack of trucks right now.
50 laps to go. Balliet leads the way at the moment. He's led 27 laps to Scioli's 55. And things are heating up here at the front, almost as hot as Rick's Hot Sauce. Be sure to check out rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces made locally in South Florida. Try the Loxahatchee Classic, Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, or South Beach Heat. Follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series and see which driver will take home that $100 prize as the highest finishing rookie in the point standings. And there is some South Beach heat on the south end of the 07 truck right now. That 7 car is coming.
He's trying to get up there, but just not able to really get inside or outside of 07 quite yet. This battle's heating up. One that's been hot is Mason Kane, still trying to fend off JT Poole for that 11th position. Another driver that's kind of been stuck behind his 31. JT can't make anything work. Ooh. They're 3 wide in the background for 15th.
Yeah, this is the 88 of Anasodek. Danny Ware on the outside, Tom Bourne on the inside. We're going to both get by the 16.
Oh, Kane got dumped by JT Poole into 1. Is he going to save it? Yes, he is. No, he's not. He's going to get turned hard into the outside wall.
Curhan misses it, cautions out, and that answers the fuel questions.
Yes, it sure does.
And gives Balliet a new lease on life. That was well timed for the 07 because he was about to get passed. And I think this is a situation where Poole might have just run out of patience.
So Kane gets loose.
Ooh, yeah, he got hit.
Just drives into him, no doubt about it. Almost had it saved, but Therian just couldn't check up in time and right rears him.
Oh,
JT almost got caught by that. And Michael Curhan, I don't know how he missed that.
Yeah, Curhan did an excellent job sneaking by this. Didn't even have good viewership of it until right here. Oh.
Gosh. Played a big, it's a big moment in the race because everyone gets 4 fresh tires. It's really weird. When they passed Mason Kane, it gave Balliet a big gap on the 7 of Scioli, so he honestly should keep the lead. It won't even be a contest because of that. John Hall takes 2 tires.
I like it. Track position's been important tonight, and the 07 rolls off behind John Hall, and we had 3 trucks not pit, and they are going to pit this time, so cancel that. Roland Nowicki stays out, maybe just to lead a lap.
Casey Licata's strategy never fails. Casey hasn't even done that tonight.
Usually it fails, but...
Well, I mean, in the way Casey does it, it doesn't. His mission becomes accomplished. Actually, it did fail last night. He tried it, and he didn't get the lap blood. My teammate took it from him.
Yeah, it looks like Ryan should be coming down pit lane this time, so that is going... No, maybe not.
You definitely should. I don't think this will work, as no surprise JT Poole gets the penalty for that. That was frustration building up and boiled over.
Well, the problem with it, and I understand JT's frustration because he got the short end of the stick a couple of times as Nowicki does hit pit lane. Problem is that frustration boiled over, and now you're just setting yourself up for more frustration and putting yourself in a must-win at Talladega. That's effectively what this is going to do. Is it possible he can restart 26th and win this race in 45 laps time? Yeah. Is it likely? No.
No.
Yeah.
The percentages on the chances are probably below 1%. It's so hard to gain that track position in under 45 laps. So we like to see that happen. But yeah, thinking about the point situation, it does seem really odd that he would do that. But like you said, when tensions boil over, you kind of lose control of your morals and what you really should be doing. And that's definitely caused that to happen there, as now he's going to be in the back and probably not going to be able to recover for anything more than a top 15. And he's still going to have to contend probably with Mason Kane. He'll take a wave around. So if the 31 gets back to him, it's going to get even worse.
Well, race fans, no need to fear. Winter is here. Bundle up this season with shop.areaiRacing.com and shop from our new selections of champion hoodies, jackets, and sweatshirts. Easier to shop, quicker to ship, better to wear. That's shop.areaiRacing.com. 1 to green, pace truck is going to gather up the field. Joshua Balliet is not the control truck, but he's on the outside with 4 fresh tires. His goal is run from Scioli. Now, he didn't lead quite 40 laps yet, but I think if he can get around John Hall and stall Scioli behind the 0-3, even for 2 or 3 laps, Connor, he might be able to get enough of a lead to win this race on pace.
I'm kind of surprised he didn't take the top side. He has a teammate in Jake Matheson. They could have both ganged up on the 0-7 and 7 to get them 2 ahead. Shocked he didn't do that.
Here we go, green flag. It'll be just over 40 laps to go. Great restart there from John Hall. Kicking out 3 wide in the background with the 4. Things get rowdy back here into turn 1, but Balliet should keep Scioli at bay here, but fresh tires gives you more maneuverability.
How hard he's going to push to get the right rear. He did get right rear, but he slid into turn 1, so that overlap is gone, and Scioli's back even with him, and Matheson trying to fill the gap to get around Scioli for this position.
And everyone knows how hard it is to get track position now with only just over 40 laps to go, so the intensity level is going to rise. We will very likely see some more run-ins here. So get that track position, because every time you get a restart as the leader, you will have an opportunity to drive away that others will not get.
It looks like John Hall is actually making 2 tires work.
Oh,
right now.
Tag the wall. Balliet's clear of Scioli.
Tagged it, but not too badly, as a little bit more battling. Oh, he's loose off of 2, though. Scioli's loose. They're giving it everything to try to get into that position. To win this race, spin off of 2. Might have been Cameron Hearn.
And
no caution.
Yeah, he's down on the apron here, and it might trigger now, but it has not. We're going to stay green. I'll mark that. We can go back and look at it later.
He's had a tough season in trucks. Horrific break for him, but fortunately, I guess, for the drivers behind John Hall,
he was big time sideways. Whoa, holy cow, those 2.
Another 2 that never lose each other on track, but that was 2 separate slides. And they're still side by side for the 6th position, as John Hall's making this work as they get all single filed out from the leader back to Munsell, who's been quietly in 5th.
Yeah, Justin Munsell has had a really strong night. And as you mentioned, quiet. Some nights, not being mentioned is a good thing, like tonight for the 6th. Sometimes being not mentioned is a bad thing because you're running 35th. But it's the former for the 6th.
We usually talk about the former, I would say.
Yeah.
It's working out for him so far, as Balliet still trying to chase down John Hall, but he's really not getting close enough to have any sort of move. The other good thing, at least he's getting away from Scioli a little bit at this point, as truck's low.
Yeah.
I think it was out of caps. He came out of pit road.
So Cameron Hearn and the 5 of Garrett Grant had it coming together, very similar to the first caution. Kind of tracked down and up into each other. Balliet coming with a launch onto the attack here of the 0-3.
Trying to get these runs out of the corner to try to get a run into the corner to get that overlap on John Hall that he got on Scioli.
Oh, big wiggle.
He's pushing too hard trying to do it, though, and he's risking losing 2nd. But the good thing about firing, I don't think so. The only good thing about him firing it in that far is as long as he catches it, he still gets a great run off the corner. As, Matson just got knocked out of the way by Justin Munsell for that 4th position.
Gonna stack up everybody behind him as well. Here's a look at that.
Wow. That's not Munsell-like. That was intentional, but wow.
It was the slightest little touch, and then Matheson had a big wiggle in reaction.
Hey, well, that is
means business for sure.
Well, that's a weight off of Scioli's shoulders. But also on a restart would probably put Matheson behind him. But I think he'd be more focused on the 6 if we got a restart. But Munsell's trying to get up to the front to have a challenge for this win.
P4. 2nd in the outside lane. Could we get another restart?
Now, a track like this, if we get a late restart, you need to be in the top 2 rows. I don't think you can win him from 5th without chaos.
Well, we can certainly get chaos too, but the laps are short enough that I think you're right. I think you got to be those front 2 rows. sometimes you got to get your elbows out. Think of how many times Munsel's been on the receiving end of some junk. You know? And it wasn't really that egregious either. That was just moving him because he had to go, you know?
They weren't really moving him. He just kind of went further up the track than I think he wanted to. I think he just entered. I think he got on throttle center off a little too early, but it was still such a slight tap as he's still making up his track position as Santa Sogak is really trying to rough up Danny Ware after we're looking at that battle. That slight contact. That's a battle for 13th. Danny Ware's endured a few battles already tonight.
All is
trying
fair.
to endure one more as someone sliding in the way back. I think it's Case Lakatos, but he saved it.
All is fair in love, war, and short track racing, right?
That's one way to put it. I don't know if Danny Ware would agree.
Next time by 30 laps to go. Laps winding down. And John Hall.
We had a slide. Beckner sliding. He lost a lot of track position while we weren't looking. Someone hit him, maybe. Well, I won't say someone definitely hit him because he's been sliding a lot tonight.
Yeah, he just stepped out.
Yeah. Tapped the wall. Didn't do much damage, but once again, his tires are way heated up, and he lost 2-3 positions out of that.
But tires are hot, but so is the driver probably, and that's the harder thing to cool down a lot of the time.
So what happens on a flat track with rear brake? It's at least the second time we've seen that tonight. He does clear Sam Fontaine back. Doesn't end up really hurting him.
I'm just impressed. John Hall's strategy call here. This could be a race-winning call. I don't know how much left side tires would do for you here, but we have not seen hugely significant tire wear, and this might have been the call to win this race. Track position has been so important, and Balliette's going to have to work him over. The problem for Balliette is the second he gets on the assault and gets slowed down, Scioli's right there. So as long as John hits his marks, it'll be tricky for Josh or James to get by.
We haven't really seen Joshua Balliette in this situation all season long. Like we said, this is the first time he led laps all season, so we're going to have to end up seeing if he can catch the 0-3, because he's not even close enough right now, but if he catches him back, is he going to be willing to lay the bumper to them?
Update on JT Poole, by the way, 22nd after that penalty and incident. 71, well, he had gotten back around the 28, but it was just the 0-9, similar colors to the 28 truck. Bryce
Hasek's still recovering from the first lap crashes. And Sogak and Tom Bourne swerved to the bottom out of 2, but he's had damage since the beginning on that first yellow, but he's gotten all the way back to a race best 10th.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is the best he's run all night. Started 22nd, dropped to the tail, and has now fought all the way back up to P10, which is the highest he's run tonight. So this is a decent recovery for a driver that things started off a little bit rocky tonight.
Yeah, definitely a good recovery so far, as long as he can hold on to it. As Wineland and Therian for 11th, a little close, side by side there. Just trying to pay attention to the times. I don't think paying attention to the times matters much, but what does matter is that Jake Matheson is back on the bumper of Justin Munsell. He did just give him a little love tap in 1 and 2. See if he gives him a little more.
Yeah, a little more of a shove.
A little bit.
Jake's
clean.
Safe as far as wins are concerned, so he can afford to be a bit more risky, but Munsell.
You don't want to make someone target you, though, as for the lead, Balliette is under John Hall for the lead, as Munsell Matheson's still making contact.
This is dangerous, though, because if he gets trapped down here, that 7's going to be right on top of him. He's got to use him up here, Connor. This is go time.
You might have to back out and just have another run at him now, though, because Scioli's still lingering. I think you just have to bump him and hope he doesn't spin. I just don't know if passing him on the bottom is going to work, because the 7 just gets right back to you.
Yeah, I think this is Joshua Balliette's got to get the elbows up. He's got to be aggressive here. If you lay over and let John Hall pick his lane and do everything his way, he's going to win this race. If you spend too much time screwing with him, that 7's going to be all over you. You have to get the elbows up and out. This is short track racing. If you want in, you got to play the game. You try to do it with respect, Connor, but it's hard to do it.
It's hard to do, especially on corner entry. If you hit them corner entry, they could spin so easily. So,
and John Hall's locked in. So, if you're gonna, play Robin Hood here,
steal from the winners, give to the non-winners. Exactly. I guess that's one way to put it. See if I don't think lap traffic will play much of a difference.
Oh, Scioli.
Oh, he hit. I don't know if he hit him, but
he did. He got to the rear bumper and gave him a shot.
But if you can't make the pass hitting someone, that's almost hurting Scioli more, because look at the gap John Hall's going to have to work with now. I was about to say maybe Mason Kane and James Shanewolf play a factor, but Hall has a big enough gap where it might not matter.
Yeah, under 20 laps to go now, 19 left. Lap traffic to contend with here.
Oh, they're making contact for 8th. Beckner is defending for his life on Fontaine and Senesac.
Oh, those two are getting racy. Senasac's going to lose a spot here. What did I say about elbows
caution.
out? And yellow. Sean Peachin again.
Again. Well, now it gets interesting because you almost don't want to pit now and give up track position. We'll see what happened this time.
Oh,
boot from Licados.
Man. At some point, you got to say, hey.
Target on him.
Am I doing something wrong? You know what I mean?
John Hall, looks like everyone's staying out. Meanwhile, but yeah, he got turned.
Man.
Looks like 12th on back will come in. Everyone else stays out.
I don't think I would have pit here.
But everyone behind Therian, for the most part, did pit. So honestly, not a bad decision since everyone else came down behind him. But obviously the leaders, no way they came.
I don't think anyone up in the top 10 should have come, and they didn't, rightfully so. I think if you're in 12th on back, why not? And that's what they did. I just don't think that I don't think you're going to win because you're pulling that strategy like you could say at Darlington or some other place where you could gain 12 spots in a lap from the chaos. We're going to restart with under 15 to go. And this makes me really like John Hall, Valiette, and Scioli because they've got the track position. But I really like John Hall because of the jump that he's going to get on the restart. It's not a big one, but is this restart taking that outside lane, Connor? When is that too risky to do?
It depends. It's really, I don't think you want to do it. I'd honestly rather have Valiette behind me than James Scioli. And that sounds crazy, but think about the situations there. And Valiette will like to get a little aggressive, but on points, I think he's like 55 to the good. He really can't afford to wreck out. He's got to keep that points gap as, we'll see, 50 to the good. So he's in a great spot, but look at James Scioli. If you take the outside and Scioli can get by Valiette somehow, he gets the second, he's going to have to be aggressive. He's 45 below the cut line. He most likely needs to win tonight or at Talladega, and he's not going to leave it up to Talladega, so he's going to have to do anything he can here in these last 15 laps to get this checkered flag, so I would not want him behind me.
Well, he's already used the bumper on the 07, so Valiette knows the rules of engagement. Valiette's used the door on the 03, so John Hall knows the deal. What if you're Justin Munsell right now? Let's have one more look here at the standings. You're Justin Munsell. You're not on this list.
I don't think he's part-time. He's just out here for the checkered flag as well.
That's my point. So he's got no reason to be conservative.
We already saw that.
He's going to restart on the outside of the second row. And the front three are all racing really hard for a championship. What do you do if you're the 6?
Well, you hope that Jake Matheson does not fully move you. He already did get aggressive to get the 4th. Matheson was trying to repay the favor a little bit. He's going to have to get a really good jump here, as it looks like John Hall's going to keep the bottom line to himself as we get the 1 degree. And so he's just got to be ready on this restart to try to follow Valiette through and get by Scioli for 3rd. Then at that point, it's going to be tough because just restarting 3rd, if you don't get that jump, is really tough. So I think best case scenario here for Justin Munsell is it goes green to the end. You get the 3rd on the restart. Hope Valiette roughs up John Hall and then maybe pick up the scraps and take the win.
And if we get a green-white checker?
Does a Chastain work?
We have yet to find out. 13 laps to go, the lucky number here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. John Hall is the control truck, the red truck on the inside lane. Joshua Valiette searching for his first win in area competition. Green flag, John Hall gets a nice jump. Valiette almost clear of the 7th, but Scioli turns down.
Matheson tried to get to the wall and almost lost it. Him and Brad Slaughter made contact. They're sliding in the back, and Scioli's got the nose ahead of Valiette for 2nd while they're spinning in the back, but no caution. That was Gary Waterworth.
3 and 4 wide in the background for 2nd. This is a fierce fight here.
Another crash. Caution.
Well, who was 2nd is the question now.
And they're wrecking into 1. Tom Bourne got turned around after the yellow.
Well, we knew it was going to get crazy, didn't we?
He's right outside the top 12, not what he needed.
All right.
But it looks like Valiette got it.
Yeah, well, he'll stay P2. That was critical for him. Here's the Stafford incident.
They're like 4 wide up ahead. I wonder if
on his own.
Yeah.
than Tom Bourne. He was already in the fence.
This was separate.
16, middle of the screen. Bounces off the 88 into the 5 and into the wall.
It's kind of a case of late racing, you know, late in the race. Everyone's trying to get everything, and you just start bouncing off of trucks. There's not much anyone could do there, but it's almost really good for John Hall that Skyley didn't get second there. I think he's a bigger threat, like we talked about, but Balliet just got him by a nose. That happened a half a lap earlier on the Waterworth spin. I think Skyley had him at that point. And now you have less laps to defend with now.
Less laps to defend with, less laps to be offensive with for Balliet and Scioli. And
Desperation picks up.
Yeah, these two might be racing each other so hard that they both might give up their shot to beat John.
I think so. That's what it looked like, especially in the turn 1. They made contact, and it really cost them. And Jake Matheson almost cost himself the top 5. He really wanted the outside. He was not trying to get trapped on the inside. He almost turned right into turn number 1. He almost hit the wall, and him and Slaughter almost came together. So you got to be careful about doing that, because that was a really odd move, but obviously wanted that higher line.
Let's have a look here on the restart. Watch the 52 inside row 3.
I see. Does he just, I think he sees the hole and goes for it. Yeah. He just, and then just misses the corner. The Slaughter doors his teammate Weishart, then goes into Matheson. I thought that's where the crash was going to happen.
I thought so too. I thought we were doomed the second we left turn 2 like that, but Balliet filling the outside gap already. We have not yet won to green, but I think he wants that outside groove. You can defend better up there for sure, but
John Hall's getting clear every time. Did you say Balliet wants to top more?
Well, it seems like he's driving up there already, but what could you do on the bottom?
I don't even know. He made that move on Scioli look easy to get to his right rear earlier in the race. You're not getting away with that at this point in the race, as Bronson Stafford got the EOL for that yellow. So I really think if he doesn't get a good enough restart to clear James Scioli, I really think his only avenue left is probably to try to move John Hall, which is risky. You could spin out, you get the EOL, and now you're in a bad spot. But if you really want the race win and go for this, I think the bumpers have to be used at this point. We've already seen a lot of yellows. Caution number 8 is what we're working right now. All these top 3 are the race leaders, or the race. These are basically the 3 that have dominated tonight. John Hall really got up here due to strategy. Matheson, I don't even think he's led a lap tonight. So these 3 have been the class of the field, and it should be settled between these 3.
Yeah, they have been the class of the field for sure. We're going to have 6 laps to go on the restart. And here's what I worry about. If we get another yellow, we're going to be in green, white, checkered already. So if we get another wreck, that means we're basically 2 yellows away from this being over. So we'll see if Balliet or Scioli even gets a shot at racing for a win here, or if John Hall can cruise to victory and steal, I think what it would be his second or third. It'd be his 3rd win of the season.
Yeah, Daytona and Darlington.
Here we go, double up.
You would think he needs to really be on John Hall in the restart zone.
6 laps to go here from Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park, the Area Truck Series. Don't jump if you're Balliet. He didn't, but the 0-3 is off and away. Green flag.
Oh, Scioli got hit by Munsell, kept it straight, but sideways in. Now Scioli really fired into turn 1. Matheson's dooring Munsell up the track, and they're side by side for 2nd and 4th again.
It is physical right now. Matheson's going to drive in there. He's going to wreck on the 6 if they don't pull off of each other. This is all hands on deck, elbows out, jabbing each other's rib cages, still fighting for 2nd.
We'll see if Matheson gets even more physical this time on the 6. I bet he will. That's not going to end well, as he's going to door the 6 to clear him. There's a crash in the back with Gary Waterworth, and the caution's out. Oh, and Matheson got sent after the yellow by the 6.
Yeah, we will look at both of those things. Let's first start with the Gary Waterworth crash. Shane Wolf up there to the outside. He's just going to lose it.
Another one.
Yeah. And you pointed out the 6, giving the 52 a shot. Yeah, he was not happy about that. But again, you've got to get the elbows out. Matheson is absolutely probably at the end of the string there for Justin Munsell.
And he already got hit by the 6, so you you know, you kind of got to expect that. I'm sure he's not happy about being completely ran out of room, but yeah, you can see. Yeah, he's not happy about it, but you know, elbows out, that's going to happen. I know Matheson was very unhappy, I'm sure, about the contact he got from Justin Munsell. The way these restarts have been going the last 2 or 3, it almost looks like John Hall just gets out of the way and it's over, because Scioli is getting a good enough restart to where he's almost even with Balliet through the corner, and they're just slowing each other up so much that even if another driver gets clear out of turn 4, John Hall's already been gone the past 2 restarts.
So we have a special word for what's about to happen, Connor. It is overtime. We're going to get it. And that means that the next caution, if we get one, will end this race.
Oh boy. Well, how much overtime we've seen in the truck series this season. It really only might be 2 instances, maybe 3 instances. I think Atlanta, Charlotte, and Milwaukee. I don't think Milwaukee ended under green. I think every other one ended under green, however. Oh, and Michigan. Michigan ended under green. But with a crash. As Gary Waterworth does get the EOL for that, unsurprisingly. Now it's really desperation time for Scioli, because once again, we've been talking about it all broadcast. He needs this really badly.
Yeah, this is a do or die right here, I think, for Scioli in particular.
Almost to the point where you almost really push the limits on the restart. Like, if you get a restart penalty, so what? You probably needed a win anyways. Almost to the point where he's going to be almost pushing John Hall into turn 1, just trying to get close enough to maybe move him in the turn 1. Would not be surprised if that was a strategy, but at the same time, he has a much more integrity than probably me.
Scioli is going to go into Talladega needing to win the race if he doesn't win this. And that is not a place that you can count on going in there. And he's not going to point his way in either.
No chance.
To win if you're the 7 next week and you don't get it now.
And that's not a sentence we expected to say at the beginning of this season. Reigning series champion. I mean, he bookended this last season, basically. I mean, no one could touch him. And this season, it just has not been the same, too. And he's had a lot of good runs foiled by crashes. Some nights he has been taken out because of other races he was in, couldn't get into the session time, like last week at Homestead. A number of factors have put him in this hole, and now he's really only got 2 more chances, including tonight, to try to rectify the situation, or else the reigning series champ won't even be in contention for the title.
Oh boy. All right. Got to make it just over a half a mile, and then we can celebrate somebody winning this race. John Hall played a 2-tire strategy call 46 laps ago, and he has led every lap since.
Whoever made that call, if it wasn't John Hall, he gets the gold star if he can hold on to this.
He's going to have to fight for it pretty hard. There's a lot of drivers grappling for a gold star here at IRP.
He took the top. We didn't even note that. Yeah, he takes the top this time.
That is a risky call, I think. Here we go. Green flag, 2 to go from IRP.
It's risky, but it lets Matheson go for second. Scioli's going to look 3 wide.
I think it's going to bite all 3 of them here as they come off.
He's going to turn Balliet. He's going to take Balliet out of it. They're still crashing. Oh, there they go. Danny Ware's around. Caution's out. Race is over with a big crash, and John Hall's going to hold on to win.
Oh, everybody getting taken out of that one. Big mess in turn 4.
Gosh. You almost saw that coming. Quite literally did, actually.
And did Matheson end up second? How did Travis Beckner get to third?
Scioli and Balliet slowed each other up so much. I think he snuck up to the top side, I think. And Joshua, I don't think he's going to be really happy about that move from James Scioli. How about a 1-2-3? Out of all that, Miller Racing comes out with a 1-2-3.
I mean, that could not have played out any better. 1-2-3 and a 3rd win for John Hall. He gets it done at IRP. Jake Matheson somehow comes out with a 2nd. And where did Travis Beckner come from?
I was incredibly fortunate to get through there, as Scioli kind of avoids Balliet there. He backed away from him, as Joshua Balliet really unhappy, as Beckner's going to take that every day. He came out of nowhere to get that top 3. But almost saw that coming after Scioli went for the 3 wide move. There's no grip down there to make that work. and that took out a lot of trucks, as I'm sure we'll look at. But John Hall, call of the night to get those 2 tires. The track position pays off.
That was an excellent strategy call, and he will celebrate it in victory lane with the area shop 03. And just like the livery inspiration as he bangs it off the wall there.
Aztec.
That paint scheme driven by Smoke back in 2011, and 13 years later, the 03 takes it to victory lane in a cloud of smoke.
The second of the season for that paint scheme. 3rd total for John Hall. You didn't think he was a title favorite. You can definitely think again. He's won at everything. A super speedway, a mile and a half, or really intermediate, and now a short track.
Here's a look at the race results. John Hall, Jake Matheson, Travis Beckner, your top 3. Miller Racing. How did that happen? Justin Munsell, P4. After all that booting and banging, he ends up in the top 5. James Scioli, P5. He will have to win at Talladega next week, and there's a growing list of drivers that all have to do the same, and newsflash, they can't all do it.
Yeah, it is going to be a dogfight in Cup and Trucks for that win at Talladega. Slaughter, Theory, and Fontaine. Weishart, the top 10. Fontaine, he's going to be close to the cut line. He'll likely need a win to solidify his way through to the playoffs. And other drivers, a lot of these drivers are probably in that crash on that second to last lap. How about Michael Curhan? Unfortunate night for him. He started second and just fell back to 19th. Peachin through all that still gets a top 20. He was involved in a lot of crashes. JT Poole recovered to 15th after his incident with Mason Kane, but another driver, he also might have to win at Talladega. He came in tonight below that cut line. Bryce Sensack got back up to 14th after involved in the first yellow of the night.
Yeah, that JT Poole is also in a dire strait as well, so that could get interesting next week. 2 drivers that are very aggressive having to get it done at the big track at Talladega, from one of the smallest tracks on our schedule to one of the largest here. Before we pull in our drivers to interview, let's go back and have a look at that wreck. It was a pretty kind of chaotic moment here, but it all starts with the 49, but let's have a look.
Well, it really started with the 7 of Scioli and Valiette come together, because it stacks everything up, and it comes all the way back to here where Danny Ware and Eric Weiland come together, and then everyone's trying to go full throttle, get through it, and then here comes the chaos where everyone's in this one.
And you're just trying to get through it, because if you don't gain any spots. So you have to charge your way through it. But going back to that the 7, let's see how this starts between these 2.
It really starts entering turn 1, because Scioli tries to make it 3 wide. He's trying to keep the momentum off the corner, but Valiette, he just comes up into the left rear of him. And then the 6 hit him, put Valiette sideways, and that's what started the chain reaction. Scioli got the spot from Valiette, but Gear 7 was not happy afterwards for sure.
Yeah, so that is a dramatic way to bring into our final moments of the regular season. Of course, they've got one more race left to go. That's at Talladega in 1 week's time. In just a moment, we're going to talk to a handful of our top 3, and all 3 of them from Miller Racing. Connor, there are days when your team has good days, and there are days when your team has bad days, but it's not often your team has a lucky day as well. That 28, I don't think was really up there in the mix for a top 3 until the very, very end, but carved his way through in the final moments. That's an excellent drive there for Travis Beckner at a very opportune time.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, he had the speed. We saw on the very first few runs of the race, he had the speed to get up there. He went 13th throughout the 4th position, but they kind of got trapped behind slower traffic on older tires. Different strategies kind of kept him behind, but was able to recover to get that top 3 at the very end through some fortunate semi-crashing happening. But he had the speed for it. Just a unorthodox way to get the position done for sure.
Well, Travis Beckner comes home in 3rd. Mr. Where did he come from tonight? What happened? Started 13th, ran as low as 19th. All of a sudden, you're 3rd on the last lap, and the caution's out. Holy cow. That was wild. There he is. There's Travis. Travis, we were just saying that last restart, things got pretty chaotic. All of a sudden, you're 3rd. What happened? That was wild and crazy, and now your team's all top 3. You weren't as high as 3rd all day until the very end. Take us through that.
Yeah, I was driving super aggressive there at the end. I mean, I'll say that I was driving over my head 110%. Like, I'm so happy that we got a 1-2-3 for the first time ever. Hopefully we could get a Dawson Miller interview tonight. But, very, very proud of our team. John did an unbelievable job with the restarts. Jake was quick. I was quick. Sucks what happened with Mason. Mason was quick as well. Been awesome if he would have got up there as well, but Going into Talladega next week, I think all of us are locked in. I don't know where Mason is in points above the cut line, but if he's 45 points above, he's pretty much locked in at that point. So, once again, really happy with this overall team performance. So, yeah.
I would consider that a very, very strong day, Travis. Congratulations on P3, and most of you guys can head into Talladega with nothing at all to worry about. Congrats.
Yeah, before I go, I'd like to thank a few people. Got to thank my sponsors, Calusa Pines Landscaping, Alien Gear Holster, Celsius, Area Shop, everybody at Miller Racing, especially Dawson Miller, and Low Dollar Racing. Y'all take the time out of your day to come broadcast this. Yeah, I mean, I'm really happy for us. They're getting the 1, 2, 3.
Thanks, Travis. Congratulations. P3 in the number 28.
Thank you.
And it was Jake Matheson who comes home in second in the number 52. Fought up in the top 5 most of the day, Jake, but it got elbows out there at the end, pushing, shoving. Tempers were starting to flare there at the end, but you're well and good into the playoffs. You don't have to worry about that. So take me through those last 50 laps, barging through there, trying to make way, and finishing P2 in a 1, 2, 3 for Miller Racing.
You know, just racing this track, it's so claustrophobic, it's so close. All the racing is just right on top of each other. I do feel kind of bad for using up the 6 the way I did to get P4 there, but I knew I had to get that, you know, restart in P4 if I wanted a chance at the top 3. So sorry about that, but you know, like I said, short track racing, I'm sure it was plenty of fun to watch. I think we had some good green flag runs there. So yeah, just crazy short track stuff as usual, and tired again.
Yeah, worn out and P2. I'll take it, Jake. Congratulations, and we'll see you next week at Talladega with nothing to sweat about. We'll see you there.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait for that. That's going to be real fun. But real quick before I go, just can't. Oh, sorry. I want to thank Calusa Pines, Celsius, Area Shop, Alien Gear, Huckett Films, and Miller Racing for everything. I want to get Mr. Dawson Miller himself in here for an interview, because he is mighty excited for tonight.
We'll bring him in when we talk to the race winner, John Hall, here in just a moment. Jake, thanks so much for talking. We'll see you next week.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. See you later.
Thank you. All right, we've got race winner John Hall, and we've got Dawson Miller joining us here now. John, strategy call is what it came down to. Take me through your restarts there at the end, holding off the field, and then we'll talk to Dawson after.
Yeah, I mean, it was a complete Hail Mary on the 2-tire call. I saw how good Brad was hanging on there on the caution before that after however many laps we ran there, and I knew I had some speed. I just didn't have the track position to hang on there. But then the restarts at the end, I just knew as long as I could get clear there, coming off out of the restart box, it was going to be set up pretty good. So that was the most intense racing I've had at IRP in a very long time. So
well, that was a great strategy call. Dawson, 1, 2, 3 for Miller Racing tonight. It just played out. We talked to Travis. He was a Mr. Where did he come from when the chaos erupted there on those last couple of laps? Take me through your perspective of getting John up to the front and then keeping everybody in check there on those wild restarts at the end.
Yeah, just John, the two tires call was John's call, so that's 100% him. Anytime we got position to get everybody on one line, you got to do that. So that's just where we're at with that. You just got to keep everybody calm the whole race. That's all I really do. But I'm super proud of these guys. Couldn't ask for a better team. They've overperformed all year.
Well, he's talking about keeping drivers calm. Well, next week, most of them are locked into the playoffs. They don't have to worry when you head to Talladega. How much more fun is Talladega racing when you don't have to worry about getting into the playoffs?
Oh yeah, I mean you get to enjoy it at that point. And there's no stress. Just sit back and kind of like an off week.
Well, enjoy the proverbial week off next week for all you guys. Congratulations, Dawson and John. Job well done. Great strategy call there at the end. Great driving, great restarts, and we'll see you with no stress, no sweat at Talladega.
Oh yeah,
all right.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. All right, Connor, what a night at IRP. Got physical there at the end. We expected that coming, but I don't think what we expected was for Miller Racing to sweep that with the domination you have to feel for Joshua Balliet with how well he did, and he did not get the finish that he deserved tonight. But sometimes that's just par for the course. He'll have to go out fighting again next week at Talladega.
Yeah, thankfully for him, he's in a good point spot to where he'll likely be able to be locked in going into there points-wise, but still a lot of others that are going to be in a very bad spot. Skyoli's likely going to need a win, and he's probably got an enemy in Balliet after that. JT Poole, not in a great points position, but I think by my count, he will be above the cut line due to how everyone else around him finished. I think he's inside the cut line by 8 points over Ryan Swan. So that will be the point battle to look at, but I always got to factor in another winner. Fambro, Wyland, Skyoli, Garrett Grant, Tom Bourne, among others who will likely, or not likely, but almost will definitely need that win going to Talladega. And anything can happen when we've seen so many last lap crashes decide winners there in seasons past. It's going to be crazy.
Well, the Midwest winds are going to blow us down south for the winter. Talladega, Alabama next week, 80 laps, 212 miles, and that is where we will do battle for the final time in the regular season. Thanks so much for watching. Congratulations to Miller Racing and John Hall for their win tonight, and we'll see you next week.